ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं भगवत सेवया
भगवती उत्तम श्लोके
भगवती उत्तम श्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी.
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी।
Reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, title Conclusion, the perfection of renunciation, and verse number 48. Sahajam karma kaunteya
सहजं कर्म कौन्तेय
sadosam apina tyajet
सदोषमपि न त्यजेत्।
sarvam rambha hidoshena
सर्वारम्भा हि दोषेण
dhumenagnir ivavrata
धूमेन अग्नि इवावृता।
सहजं कर्म कौन्तेय
सहजं कर्म कौन्तेय
सदोषम् अपि न त्यजेत्
सदोषमपि न त्यजेत्।
सर्वारम्भा हि दोषेण
सर्व आरम्भा हि दोषेण
धूमेऽग्निर् इवावृता.
धूमेन अग्निरिवावृता।
Anyone would like to lead?
सहजं कर्म कौन्तेय
सहजं कर्म कौन्तेय
सदोषम अपि न त्यजेत्।
दोषम् अपि न त्यजेत्
सर्व आरम्भा हि दोषेण
सर्वारम्भा हि दोषेण
धूमेन अग्निरिवावृता।
धूमेनाग्निरिवावृता.
सहजं कर्म कौन्तेय
सहजं
सहजं
कर्म
कर्म
कौन्तेय
कौन्तेय
सदोषम् अपि न त्यजेत्।
सदोषम
सदोषम्
अपि
अपि न
न त्यजेत्।
त्यजेत्
सर्व आरम्भ हि दोषेण
सर्व
सर्वारम्भा
आरम्भा
हि
हि
दोषेण
दोषेण
धूमेन अग्निरिवावृतः।
धूमेन
धूमेनाग्निरिवावृता.
अग्निरिवावृता।
Word by word meaning. Sahajam, born simultaneously.
सहजम born
Sahajam, born
simultaneously.
simultaneously.
Karma, work.
Karma
Karma,
work.
work.
Kaunteya, O son of Kunti.
Kaunteya,
Kaunteya, O
O
son
son
of
of
Kunti.
Kunti.
Sadosam,
Sadosham,
Sadosham,
with fault.
with
with
fault.
fault.
Api, although.
Api,
Api,
although.
although.
No, never.
Na,
No,
never.
never.
Tyajet, one should give up.
Kejit, one
Tyajit,
should
one
give up.
should give up.
Sarva arambha,
Sarva
Sarva
arambha,
arambha,
all ventures.
all
all
ventures.
ventures.
He certainly.
He
He
certainly.
certainly.
Dosena, with fault.
Doshena, with
Doshena, with
fault.
fault.
Dhumena,
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 with smoke.
with
with
smoke.
smoke.
Agni, fire.
Agni,
Agni,
fire.
fire.
Eva, as.
Eva,
Iva, as.
Avrata, covered.
Avyata,
Avrita, covered.
covered.
Translation by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai.
Pad ki
Jai.
jai.
Every endeavor
Every endeavor
is covered by some fault,
is
Is
covered by
covered by some fault.
just as fire is covered by snow.
just
Just
as
as
fire
fire
is
is
covered by
covered by
snow.
smoke.
Therefore, one should not give up
Therefore, one should not give up
the work born of his nature.
the
the work
work
born
born
of
of
his
his
nature.
nature.
O son of Kunti,
O
O
son
son
of
of
Kunti,
Kunti,
even if such work is full of fault.
even if such
even
work
if
is
such
full of
work is full of fault.
Anyone would like to read the purport by His Divine Grace?
Conditioned life, all work is contaminated by the material modes of nature. Even if one is a Brahman, he has to perform sacrifices in which animal killing is necessary. Similarly, a Kshatriya, however pious he may be, has to fight enemies. He cannot avoid it. Similarly, a merchant, however pious he may be, must sometimes hide his profit to stay in business, or he may sometimes have to do business on the black market. These things are necessary. One cannot avoid them. Similarly, even though a man is a Sudra serving a bad master, he has to carry out the order of the master, even if it should be not be done. Despite these flaws, one should continue to carry out his prescribed duties, for they are born out of his own nature. A very nice example is given here. Although fire is pure, still there is smoke. Yet smoke does not make the fire impure. Even though there is smoke in the fire, fire is still considered to be the purest of all elements.
Thank you, Prabhu. Anyone else would like to read this page?
I can. One second. Yeah. If one prefers to give up the work of a Kshatriya and take up the occupation of a Brahmana, he is not assured that in the occupation of a Brahmana there are no unpleasant duties. One may then conclude that in the material world, no one can be completely free from the contamination of the material nature. This example of fire and smoke is very appropriate in this connection. When in winter time one takes a stone from the fire, sometimes smoke disturbs his eyes and other parts of the body, but still one must make use of the fire despite disturbing conditions. Similarly, one should not give up his natural occupation because there are some disturbing elements. Rather, one should be determined to serve the Supreme Lord by his occupational duty in Krishna consciousness. That is the perfectional point. When a particular type of occupation is performed for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, all the defects in that particular occupation are purified. When the results of work are purified, when connected with the devotional service, one becomes perfect in seeing the self within, and that is self realization.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Let's all chant together. Aum Agyana Timirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Udapada Kamalam Guru Vaishnavamsha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatha Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakha He
He
Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpa Tarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Jai Shri
Jai Shri
Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Prabhu
Prabhu
Nityananda Sri
Nityananda
Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi
Srivasadi
Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
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 Rama Hare
Hare
Rama
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 Hare
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 Nilachala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadra Bhyang Jagannathaya Te Namah. So thank you so much for joining this wonderful Sangha. Today, after a break, we are resuming the continuous Bhagavad Gita systematic study 48. So Lord Krishna, in the prior verses, systematically going analysis of action as for three modes, analysis around knowledge in three modes, karma in three modes, karta from 26 to 28 in three modes, buddhi in three modes, dhritti, determination in three modes, happiness in three modes, and then for a break, Lord Krishna is explaining that how he is not affected by the modes. Then once again, going back to different modes as to how different modes make Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishyas, and Sudras, and then going step by step into 42, 44, three verses, Brahmana, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas and Sudras, and how Lord Krishna is giving that the qualities of individual work needs to be done to attain perfection, and how by worshipping the Lord you can attain perfection. Not work is worship, but but work and worship, which we discussed in 46 and 47. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are not affected. And now Lord is giving an example that even if our natural propensity to do any work has faults, we should not get rid of that. So, what does that mean actually? See, Krishna talks about varnashram, varna. There are three varna, there are four varnas and four ashramas: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, four varnas, ashrama, brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyas. So there are 4 by 4 matrix. We all fall in one category out of the 4 by 4 matrix of 16 cells. We are at a different point in time depending on where we are. Most of us at the moment are grihastha, or some of us may be in the form of a varnashram, leading a retired life, or some of them may be brahmacharis if they are not entered the grihastha ashram of wedding. So in this 16 cells, we have certain nature born out of material nature. And with this born out of material nature, we have work breakdown structure. We have to work based on certain traits. And when these traits are not followed, then there is disturbance. So Krishna last time is saying, whatever your work breakdown structure by virtue of the material nature is, you should follow that in 47. You should not try to think something else is better. So here he says, if you're Kshatriya, if you're killing people, you're not affected by sinful reactions in 47. So now Krishna is saying the same thing in a slightly different way, giving reassurance. So Krishna has made this Bhagavad Gita a total science, if you see. He's building a case, he's building theories, he's building laws, he's building dharma. And what he's trying to do, just to add to last time, verse 47, he's saying, even if your endeavor by virtue of your material nature, Arjuna wanted to quit war. He didn't want to fight. He wanted to go back to forest. He wanted to lead a life where he doesn't have to kill. But his actual position is to fight, is to protect. So Krishna is reassuring him again, because after 25, 30 verses, Arjuna will say, I have understood you, Krishna. So he's now building a case, as you can see. Now he's saying, even if your path, he's referring to Arjuna as Kaunteya. He's referring to Arjuna as son of Kunti. And how he is saying it? He's saying with an element of brotherhoodness. So he's kind of persuasive. But how he's persuasive? By giving an example. Most of the persuasive things we end up in our life when we're trying to persuade something. You take up life membership of ISKCON, you will get, 25% discount in ISKCON guest houses. persuasive. And likewise, Krishna is beautifully persuasive in saying, Kaunteya, son of Kunti, giving that element of respect that even if your path has some faults, and how it is with fault, as you know, yajna you do it with fire. Fire is considered to be pure. When the impurities of gold from the mine is put into fire, the impurities are removed and gold comes out. More you put in fire, it dazzles more and more because fire has the cleansing thing. So Krishna is saying, even if fire is pure, but there is inherent smoke. Just because there is smoke, you shouldn't, you should not be not using fire because fire gives us heat. Fire gives us heat during our cold months and during our cooking activities. So fire is not the problem if it has smoke. So likewise, anything you end up doing in your life, there will be challenges. You get a job, you have to go to office. When you go to office, you risk that there might be accident on the way. But just because there is accident on the way doesn't mean that you don't drive up to work to not do. There is faults everywhere. But our fundamental position of doing is more important than anything. If you look at Hanumanji, for example, Hanumanji was such realized in the method of servitorship that every time, every time he was a servant of Lord Ram, and in every activity and the dharmic process he followed is to serve Ram in whatever capacity is possible, whether it is in every intent, he had the servitorship in there. Actually, our Acharya says that Hanuman had the strength to kill Ravana. He is ultra powerful. He can just take any form, any shape. He can be minuscule, get into somebody's tummy and break open by expanding. He's ultra powerful. He could have killed Ravana then and there when he went to search because he was actually caught up by Ravana after he found Mother Sita. But he had to control that aspect of not killing Ravana because the glories of killing Ravana should go to his Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ramji. So there are many challenges in all our lives, but karma, which is so people say the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita is Karma Yoga. The next 6, 7 to 12 is Jnana Yoga, and 13 to 18 is Bhakti Yoga. But if you look at all the chapters, there is an element of bhakti in every chapter, every sloka, because the love for Godhead is fundamental. In love for Godhead is a default setting we all have. Jiver Shurup hai, Krishna Nityadas. Our default setting is a of servant of the servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is because we possess something which belongs to the Supreme. We have soul. Without soul, we are dead. If soul leaves us, we are dead. So what is that which gives us a life? It's not just oxygen, it's the soul. The presence of soul makes us alive. And the soul belongs to who? Super soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we are part and parcel of the Supreme. As part and parcel of the Supreme, like we do something in this country, we abide by the rules to gift access. If you don't gift access, we'll be locked up because we have to follow the rules. But in terms of we having this life has to do with the Supreme Personality of God. So our default setting is the servant of the servant of the servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In doing so, if we end up doing, in doing so, if we end up doing, if we end up doing, if we if we end up not following the process of surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, if we do not, we think there are objections, there is issues, because our natural position is to serve the Supreme, as the example I just provided. If we don't end up doing that, it will take time for us to understand over a period of punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. That and that general trait, if we are not getting to, there is a fault in our ability to understand Krishna consciousness. Our default setting is the servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when we don't recognize that and we avoid, because we think that the fumes which are deterrents, which is like Maya, we are spirit souls. Our default setting is to serve, but we are in this Maya and we have forgotten with this Maya's interjunction that who we are, and we think we are independent beings and we can enjoy anything you want. But we don't know that we are entangled by the karmic activities we have done in the past, and we undermine the importance of our constitutional position, and we end up doing whatever we want to do. That is what Krishna is saying, that if your default setting is to serve the Supreme, focus in that if there is deterrence. And that is where there might be deterrence in the form of smoke, as in this example, but fire is the purest form. Anytime we want to do something, whether it's the appearance of a kid in our family or any Narshima Yagya or anything for that matter, fire sacrifices are important because it cleanses the impurities. But when you end up doing, there is fire. Krishna is giving that example that even if fire can appear with smoke, don't give it up. Likewise, if our job has challenges, as long as it is not unfavorable in our devotional service, as long as our devotional service can progress along with the work we end up doing, don't undermine that. Keep on doing, and and that is essentially a uh, a, a message which Krishna has for us, which we should not undermine. Where Krishna says that even if the fire is filled with smoke, whenever we end up doing something, there are people who will hurl abuses in our activities. Our families may say, hey, you're wearing dhotis to the temple. But when we come to temple, When you go to offices, we have suit and tie. We follow because we are under the control of the boss to come and write a tire. But when we try to do our prescribed duties in temple, we shouldn't be perturbed by others telling us in our ability to serve the Lord, because Lord has some specific attire He has recommended. So it's just an example as to even if there are challenges, as long as we are following our duties based on the Vedic injunctions, as in following our constitutional position of servant of the Supreme, and trying to do whatever we're supposed to do, born out of the nature, then we will never be faulty, even if we are there are hindrances in that. So Arjuna did not want to fight, but Krishna said that this is your duty. Going to forest will incur not only sinful reactions, but also humiliation from others, because Arjuna fled by not following his duty. And that's where we have the example last time we gave, where a snake was told by Narad Muni not to bite. When Narad Muni said snake did not bite, forget about biting, he did not even show his hood. Then kids started throwing stones. And after some time, Narad Muni was passing through and he saw the bleeding snake. When then the snake said, I stopped showing my hood and biting because you told me not to bite. Narad Muni said, I told you not to bite, but your constitutional position as a snake is to show your hood as a method of protection. I never asked you not to show the hood. I said never kill by biting because you are poisonous. So the constitutional position of protecting ourselves, our body, which is nothing but a temple where the Supreme Personality of Godhead resides in our heart, has to be protected. And we should further our love for Godhead by following the duty. And if duty is performed by our own nature, even if there are fumes in the fire, like the fumes in the fire, we should not get deterred by our ability to follow. That's all I wanted to discuss. If you have any comments, please open up and share. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any comments, Prabhu?
No, Prabhuji, thank you for the very pertinent examples. They were very fitting this verse. So, despite the lessons, basically what we infer from here is that whatever is our prescribed duty, and if it is in line with our constitutional position, right? As you told the snake example, Prabhuji, the constitutional position was to raise the hood, but um, the snake deviated from the constitutional position and tried not to bite, right? So the point what I want to tell is that it's a combination of both the constitutional position and the prescribed duties. If they are aligned, we should do, despite difficulties or despite abuses or humility, we should do that, right, Prabhuji?
Yes.
um, it is a combination. That's what I want to, like we say, right? In math, when we try to prove theorems, we necessary and sufficient conditions, right? So similarly, here constitutional position and prescribe are necessary and sufficient conditions, Prabhuji, for our ability to do the endeavor. And this also has a bearing on the five principles of the work which we discussed in our earlier of 18th chapter, right, Prabhuji? The doer, the will of the God, and the endeavors, and also the tools, means which our senses, basically tools to perform those. So all these will be aligned if our constitutional position as well as our prescribed duties are in line. So these five factors will basically also be very favorable. That's I wanted to point out that, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Very nice. And that's where Srila Prabhupada always upholded our constitutional position and our ability to perform our duties, staying in wherever we are, instead of really going back to Vrindavan or Himalayas or for that matter. So we can make our life Krishna consciousness, irrespective of, we can make our surroundings holy by following the constitutional positions, by following Srila Prabhupada's interpretation of Bhagavad Gita to love God and derive bliss in our lives. Thank you, Prabhu.
And also to serve God. That is also our constitutional position, Prabhuji, to serve God.
Exactly. Absolutely. And that should not be thought. I mean, today is auspicious Good Friday, and today Jesus Christ was was crucified. But if you look at some of the devoted uh, followers of Jesus Christ, for the last 40 days, they do not, many of them in our office, I have seen many of my friends and colleagues, they do not take any uh, meat for that matter,
Meat products.
meat products. So they follow that with passion. They are also regulated because they want to uphold that um, scriptural reference. So through these methods, we should recognize that the constitutional position of all of us to love God is significantly explained in Bhagavad Gita, and we should adhere to it and draw inspiration from there. Thank you, Ru. Any other comments, Ru?
Nice class, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Badaji. Prabhupada ki jai. So, Rahul Prabhu, we are very happy to see you back after some time. Look forward to hearing from you and your association, getting your association again and again.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Really amazing. You have examples are amazing, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, are you busy with your studies or you're coming to temple? Also, I may not have seen you, but please give your association through Zoom or to a temple events.
Sure, Prabhuji. I visited temple, Prabhu, maybe last week, and I have visited temple.
Okay, very
Yeah,
nice.
Prabhuji.
Thank you. So, is there any final comments before we end today? So, keep your, please give your association again and again. You really, uh, your comments really make everyone learn from each other through our Sangha, and this is a very well knit Sangha we have. So it's all about association, and association is the key for the success of bhakti in our lives. So thank you so much for your attendance. Let's offer obeisance at the lotus feet of all Vaishnavas who have joined today by saying Vanchakalpataru Kripa Sindhu Bhayavacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavescha
Vaishnavabhyo Namo
Vaishnavinda
Namaha.
ki Jai.
Jai.
Grantaraj Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari
Hari
Bol.
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Hari Bol.